What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today I'm checking out the Typhon Knife Roll from Recycled Firefighter. This was from their November headquarters subscription box, but right now they have it on the website for their overstock sale, so you can get this for 35 bucks, which I think is a pretty good deal for it. I have the tool roll from Recycled Firefighter, and honestly, this is kind of what I was hoping for when I picked up that tool roll, so this is, I like a lot more. It does have its limitations, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. So it is about 20 inches wide by 5 inches tall, although the slots in here, which you flip this up, the slots in here are about 4.5 inches tall. So I mentioned limitations right off the bat, and I have 3 knives here that don't really work with this knife roll, and I'll show you why. So these slots, for the most part, are 2 inches wide. You lose a little bit of that on the edges. So these ones are about 1.5 inches or so. But for the most part, they're all 2 inches wide, so anything wider than that obviously isn't going to work. So I have here the Concept Corvid XL, which is obviously just a massive knife. That's obviously not going to fit in here because it's too wide, so you can't use that. Also, anything that's too long, so this is the Boker Quaken Air, and if you put it in there, it does fit. But as you can see, this doesn't really fold over nicely. And so technically you can put that in there. Anything a little bit longer won't really even fold over. But for me, I just don't like how it kind of folds over. It's just a little bit too long, and that is all the way in there. It's kind of pressing up against the bottom. So not perfect, although that one, you can make it work if you really want to. And then the other one is if it's not a deep carry pocket clip. And so obviously most knives nowadays have a deep carry pocket clip, but I have the Tor Chasm here, which is not deep carry at all. It has quite a bit exposed. And if you put that in there, same problem, you're not able to fold it over because it's over that 5-inch mark. So it's protruding over where you would want it to be to close it and roll it up. And so again, technically you can make it work. It's just gonna make it kind of bulky and messy, and it's not the most convenient. But I have 10 knives here that do work well in here, and just gonna load it up, show you what it looks like rolled up. Again, 2-inch slots for the most part. I think these ones are technically 2 inches as well, but you lose a little bit on the edges. And so it fits 10 knives very comfortably, and it's not super bulky. And so a pretty good way to store knives. As most of you know, I'm always looking for ways to store and transport knives. So first up, I have the CRKT CEO. Fits in there pretty perfectly. Obviously went with that one on the end because it's a little bit thinner, although most of these would have worked there as well. Next up is the Sencut Bront. I just did a video on this. It's not actually out yet, but I think it's going to come out before this one, so should have a video up on that. Followed by a Benchmade Bug Out. This is the Supreme one. Again, that one works really perfectly. The Sencut Bront is a little bit long, so it's just at the edge of there, but not so bad that it's really kind of messing up the fold. Next up is the Protech Malibu, another kind of larger one, but nice deep carry, doesn't really protrude out of there. Followed by the Chris Reeves 31 Sabenza, small Sabenza. Don't think the large would fit in here. This one does have a lanyard, so that's going to be in the way. I will fold it over after I put the next knife in there, which is the Benchmade Osbourne. This is one of the only knives that I've shown here that I don't actually have a video on. Okay, there's a couple more coming up, but we'll probably do a video at some point. Love the Benchmade Osbourne. Followed by the Wii Elementum. Again, that one fits in really nicely. It really disappears in that pocket. Followed by the Hogue Deca. Again, fits in there pretty well. The Civivi Altus. And lastly, this one doesn't have a pocket clip, but still just kind of wanted to show what that looks like. And this is the Tactile Knife Bear. And so you can do the same thing, put that in there, and then just push the lanyard over to the side when I'm done. And then, so you can see these all fit in here fairly nicely. You can fold it over. There's a couple that are sticking out, but nothing past that 5-inch mark, so it fits pretty nicely. And then once you're done, you can roll this up very compactly. And because it has this top fold over, none of the pocket clips are gonna be rubbing up against each other and not really gonna have any risk of damaging them. This has a Velcro strip. I don't know how to describe the Velcro, but I guess if I were comparing it to like sandpaper, it's a really fine grit Velcro. And so it's not a super loud or grippy Velcro, it's pretty subtle, but works really nicely. And as you can see, it rolls up pretty smallly here. It still fits nicely in my hand. You can pack that away. There's 10 knives in there. It's not super bulky at all. You could definitely put bulkier knives in there, but really cool solution. Like this a lot better than the tool roll, which was just a little bit large and unwieldy for what I was looking for. This is kind of the perfect size. Definitely, if it were 5.5 inches, you'd be able to fit a lot more knives in there, but for the most part, just kind of, the limitation is really just oversized long knives and knives without deep carry pocket clips. And again, if they're semi-deep carry, it's fine, but because the torch chasm has a good more than an inch or so exposed when you use that pocket clip, it doesn't really fit in there since you only have about a 1/2 inch of clearance. So if your pocket clip leaves the knife sticking out less than 1/2 inch, you're probably okay. Anything more than that, you're gonna run into issues. But again, not super loud kind of Velcro compared to some of them. It also sticks to this material, which is interesting. And again, I think it's just because it's such like a fine loop panel. But overall, works really well. Super happy with this. Like how compact it is. Good way to transport knives. Again, store knives that are kind of out of rotation. You just want to pack away safely where they're not going to be rubbing up against each other. There's no exposure to the other knives. Obviously, if you rolled it up without rolling up this top protective sleeve, the pocket clips would touch, but since that's there, it does protect them from bumping into each other, which is really nice. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you're interested in this, I would definitely grab it sooner than later. It is an overstock / closeout sale. He said that he's never going to make it in this pattern again. They may eventually make some knife rolls in different patterns, but this is the last chance to get this pattern, and at only 35 bucks, I think it's a pretty good value. But thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And as always, hope you have a great one. Take care.